The question is how to forget a traumatic experience. Is it ever possible to be completely free from them? Dear friends, all of us, have these kind of memories. Whenever these memories surface on our minds, we experience certain emotions which are distressing. So this is the question that has been asked. Is it ever possible to be completely free from them? No, it means that the person has been experiencing them for many, many years and has tried to forget, but is not able to overcome. So to the learned audience here, I would like to ask this question. If you have tried it and were you able to overcome this kind of a challenge in your life, or you have come across any way through which this can be achieved, or it is not possible to achieve. Whatever is your experience, please share with me by unmuting yourself. Please see whether you can unmute now. Yes,
Good morning, sir.
Preeti ji, you were sharing something?
Yes, sir. Sir, so I feel that the traumatic experience is a part of your life, and you can not really forget it. But what you can do is to modulate your response to that event and not get very much disturbed by it as you got when the event happened, and probably take it as an experience of learning and enriching your life and making you stronger. And when that thought of that event comes, you can just see that the way you responded to it, if it were to happen again, will you do it any differently? So that is how I usually deal with these traumatic events in my life.
Wonderful. So Preeti ji, is a renowned pediatrician. She actually, counsels adolescents who have gone through this. And these are the techniques of cognitive reappraisal. Can I bring that event and also associate myself with something like with what can be positive in them also? If I would do it again, would I do it differently? And also another way in which people cope is, what is the good thing that has come out of it? Say, for example, I received support from many supporting systems, and so it is in this way. And the second very important thing, that Priti ji pointed out, that these response that we generate to these events, we should become aware of them. Most of the things that are happening here is uncontrolled, those repeated flashbacks that come in the mind, and I respond the same way I responded at that moment. So this is very important. Yes, Kambam Raghunathji.
Sir, my feeling is that we have some people who got some positive images and positive thinking. Why not we associate ourselves with such people and see that I spend some time with them and try to overcome my traumatic experiences?
Yes. So Kambam Raghunathji, is talking about a technique where you, whenever those negative kind of experiences come, you consciously try to bring into your mind the positive emotional experiences. Like you remember, when was the last time that I really felt a sense of gratitude towards someone? When was the last time that I was really protected and saved in my crisis? How the helping hand came. So in this way, or bringing into your mind the images of the people who are completely fearless, or your deity. And if at my place, if, for example, if you are a worshipper of Krishna, or you are a worshipper of Devi, so you, as soon as that experience comes, you bring into your mind that if at my place Krishna was there, if Devi was there, how would they respond to it? So like that, Vitaraga Jyotishmati, that Patanjali also describes. Very, very beautiful Kambam Raghunath. Anybody else? Any other viewpoints on this?
Sir Lalita, namaste,
Yes,
sir.
Litaji.
Yeah, sir, I was from a practical level and experience. Many times it helps to talk to a trustworthy person and unburden. And, this, like my other friend said, yes, all that also is very important, counseling and meeting people of different. But talking to a trustworthy person now and then about the trauma slowly helps you to not forget it, but at least not live with it constantly. That's what my experience I have done.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Lalita.
you. Thank you, sir.
Fine.
Sir, I'm Dr.
Gandhi
Gandhi
sir,
speaking,
yes.
sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, so traumatic experiences, of course, it will stay for some time. When we remember, it comes back and also hurts sometime. That will be there and coming and going. It will be continuing when we remember, or the incidents. Somewhere it happens to somebody also. It may we remember that one. So a death of a person or losing something, property or anything like that. So then we have to make ourselves, console ourselves. So sukha, dukkha, all are equal. So God has given this is the punishment, or this is the is testing me, like that. I used to remember.
Okay.
And so I used to forget and go for further what should I do in my life, and for other my achievements I should concentrate, like that I used to do, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Gandhi sir. So Gandhi sir shared his own experience where he used to think that there is something that I can learn from it, and God is testing me through this, and through this way of coping, he was able to manage. Okay, Shivani ji and then Uma ji. Yes.
Dr. Srinath here.
Yes.
Doctor, if you face traumatic experience every day, then how do you forget? It keeps on coming.
Yeah, yeah. So this is another question which sir has asked. We will deal with it. Uma ji, yes.
Yeah, good morning, sir. So
Yeah.
what I feel is everyone of us will have the traumas in our life, but recollecting again and again, the memory will become very strong about negative things, and it creates also some fear or a phobia about it.
Yes.
And I used to change my focus whenever I start getting such traumas. Have learned the coping skill, like getting away from that, changing my focus, or engage myself in different things, not to waste time. And I feel now I have decided that recollecting the bad memories are the waste of time. So I utilize that time to something else productively. So this is how I'm trying to manage it, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Umaji. Umaji, become aware of it. What is going on in my mind is not at all
Yes.
useful. I have to channelize my energy in a more productive way.
Yeah.
She was able to do it.
Yeah, and I think I'm the doctor for myself, because I know what is hurting me, what is troubling me, what gives me fun, what gives me happiness. So whenever I'm tired, I take rest. Whenever I'm out of mind, so I focus, I change, I engage in something productively, which will help me to learn.
Yes, yes. Wonderful. Anjuji also has written in the chat box similar thing, and she says that you can move forward in gratitude.
Yes.
So talking
Forget and forgive and forget is another thing that I have learned.
So this is about generating more positive emotions, but many
Yes.
times we observe that these are not in our control, and these things, when they come, they are very intense. But definitely, if you are having that kind of a cognitive control over yourselves, Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that you are your own best friend and you are your own worst enemy. So it is up to you. So a person should lift himself. So that is Uddhared Atmana Atmanam na Atmanam avsadayet. Very beautiful, madam. Okay, so fine. Now let us see what is written in ancient texts about this. Especially, I wanted to focus on Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, because Patanjali very clearly describes this kind of experience as one of the vrittis. Anubhut Vishaya Asampramoshaha Smritihi. There are 5 repeated patterns of thought and behavior that Patanjali describes. They are known as Panchavrittis. The mind always keeps functioning in these 5 domains. One among those Panchavritti is Smriti, which we loosely say as memory. So Patanjali says that inability of the mind to let go, asampramoshaha, what has been experienced before, is called as smriti. So the vritti, repeated thoughts, images of perceived objects are not forgotten, and through impressions keep coming back to consciousness. So Patanjali very clearly identifies this very phenomena. And then what does he say further? He says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is a state of, we can say, freedom, complete Nirodha, but awareness and freedom. So yoga is a state of awareness and freedom from the repeated thought or behavioral patterns or vrittis of the mind. So as far as the ancient texts go, they are saying that it is actually possible to come to a kind of a state where these patterns can completely stop. And that state actually has been described as a state of yoga. Okay. What happens if you are in that state where these patterns, you have overcome them, you have got freedom from them? Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. See, these sutras are coming one after another. So at that time, in that state of yoga, the observer becomes stable in his own form. In his own form, means as you see, we do this in Yoga Nidra also. At the end, we say that we are established in our own form, our own nature of observership. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. At other times, when you are not established in your observership, in your own form, when you are not in the state of yoga, the seer is identified with the pattern. So there is no third way. Either you will be in yoga or you will identify yourself with the vritti. Okay. So these are only 2 choices which Patanjali gives. So the ways which people spoke about, here is that they are talking about shifting from one vritti to another. Like I divert my attention or try to think things in a different way, imagine something positive, focus on the feeling of gratitude. So what I am doing is smriti vritti has increased in my chitta. So I am trying to bring other vrittis to my chitta. Okay. And within the vrittis only, I am trying to balance it. Of course, this is a method that is used in cognitive behavioral therapy also. And it is definitely a good method for management in terms of crisis management and for reducing the symptoms. Okay. But in the core, as most of you agreed, that these things won't disappear, they will remain there. But the way I respond to them will change, or I will shift myself from one vritti to another, But when you want complete freedom from these patterns, then the only way out that Patanjali says is that there should be tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. When you establish yourself in your own real form, then chitta vritti nirodha happens. And among them, one of the vritti is smriti also. So for acute management, you can bring change in the vrittis, but for a cure, you have to go deeper. So what is this? How to achieve this chitta vritti nirodha? So Patanjali says, Abhyas vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. Means it is possible to be completely free from these patterns in this very life. And this can be achieved by, Patanjali says, 2 ways. Abhyasa, practice, and vairagya, non-attachment. These are the two fundamental principles that we have to hold on to. So what is this abhyasa and what is this vairagya? Patanjali is very clear, very step by step he takes us. So he says, Tatra sthito yatno abhyasaha. Abhyasa is very clear. Practice is the continued effort to remain in one's own state or swarupa. So, yatno means the effort, continuous effort that you have to do for establishing yourself in that observership. Neti, neti, I am not this body, I am not this mind. And then what remains? At the end of the Yoga Nidra practice, you would have felt that. The observer, choiceless, limitless, centerless, non-judgmental observer. To remain there, to remain in that Atma Tattva, which is untouched, is the state, is the abhyasa, an effort to go in that. How to do this abhyasa? For that, you have to remind yourself again and again to remain there, to come there. For that, you will require some cue. So that one of that cue can be, you do a japa, and the whole effort is that you have to attach yourself to something higher than you. Now, what is happening is that you have developed an attachment within the domain of your mind-body complex. First thing is you have to develop a transcendental goal. Okay, and then there should be continuous effort to move towards that transcendental goal which transcends the mind-body complex. And how long is this abhyasa to be done? Satu dirghakal nairantarya satkara sevito drudbhumihi. It becomes firmly grounded. This abhyasa becomes firmly grounded by long, constant, uninterrupted efforts done with earnest devotion. So this should be your effort towards abhyasa. You cannot go as a conqueror of the nature. That kind of thing will again increase your ego. Aham brahmasmi. Rather than that, it should be satkara sevito, with earnest devotion, with gratitude. One should have that attitude when one is doing abhyasa and try to move towards it. So always go with folded hands, heads bowed down, and then try to reach your swarupa. One of the ways in which people do it is they say that, okay, that divine, that guru lies in the depth of my own heart and I surrender to him. And through that, they touch the transcendental. And one of the ways in which you can continuously do that as an abhyasa, to make it dirghakala and nairantarya, is by doing japa. So japa is a cue which keeps on reminding you of this state. Say, for example, those who attend this kind of session, for them chanting Om can be one of that kind of a cue, which will again remind you of the state that I was there in the morning. My swarupa, I am touching my swarupa. If you are devoted to Krishna, you can say Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha, Shri Krishnaya Namaha, or Jai Shri Krishna, or simply Krishna, 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 or Rama, 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 or you have Devi. So Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita. Whatever is your devotion, Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namaha. To any who came to me, I said, because she didn't believe in this, but she wanted to do japa, and she is a Christian, I even said Om Shri Jesus Devaya Namaha. So, well, no matter which religion you belong to, you have to use a sutra, use a mantra, a cue for abhyasa, which will again and again put you in that kind of a state. Then later what happens is, once this abhyasa becomes nairantarya, that mantra, that japa becomes more and more potent, and it also starts sinking deep and deep into your system. Then what happens? Initially you do the japa, later on the japa starts coming into your mind and tongue naturally. So you remind yourself of the japa in the beginning, later on the japa starts reminding you that you have to be in this state. Your mind will automatically start japa. You will not even realize. So then these japa becomes very, very important tools. Whenever those negative traumatic experiences come, your japa becomes more intense. And you, in this way, are transcending those vrittis. And what is the state of vairagya? It is a state of mastery over the mind. Vashikara sangya, where mind doesn't crave for what has been seen or heard through the sense organs. Not necessarily craving, but what has been experienced. So, drashta anushravik vishaya vitrishnasya. Trishna comes with a thirst. So by this, Patanjali says that whether it is a positive experience or a negative experience, according to Patanjali, my dear friends, the fact is somewhere deep down, I only have the thirst for that experience. I am only wanting it. Somewhere in the depth of my psyche, I want to experience that. That is why this experience doesn't leave us. In the very depth of our core, we want that. We want to remember that. We get some kind of very deep pleasure in going through that traumatic experience, in recollecting that. Why? Because towards the dvesha, towards the negative thing also, the I-ness, mind-body complex gets negatively attached. And it is the reason that it keeps on sustaining. So Patanjali says that you have to really go deep and ask this question to yourself and tell yourself that, just become aware that whether it is there, whether somewhere in the depth of my own consciousness, I am attached to it. And then when you become aware of that, then the vairagya develops, which will strengthen your abhyasa. Whenever you do yoga practice, whenever you do japa or pranayama, if you keep getting some images, some thought, then it is clear that your chitta is having vrittis. And whichever image, whichever thought which is entering into your mind again and again, somewhere deep down you have developed attachment to it. You have to become aware of this fact. And asakti or attachment is required. The chitta, the nature of chitta is such that Patanjali is very clear. He says that either you attach it to the transcendental or by default it will attach to the vritti. There is no third way. So one is your abhyasa has to become nairantarya. Every breath should become a japa. Every japa should become your breath. So in this way, a continued abhyasa and deep contemplation within you, that you become aware of the attachment that you have. These are the ways. And Patanjali says that when through knowledge of that real Purusha or the consciousness, one is able to reach that calm, expanded state, there comes para vairagya, where one ceases to desire any kind of manifestation of nature externally. When that para vairagya comes, these go side together. With more abhyasa, more vairagya comes. With more vairagya, the abhyasa becomes more and more solid. And then person reaches this state of experiencing pure consciousness. In that pure consciousness, there is no scope for any memory, any thought, any image to come. And it is very clear in Patanjali Yoga Sutra that it is possible to achieve that state in this very life. So finally, I would like to say that the key is I am unable to free myself of the patterns of memories because I think that I am thinking. I take it as a part of my core, and that I went through this. I experienced that. I am thinking about it. When I put I there, then it becomes very deep rooted and then it is very difficult to be free from it. But the fact is that you are not thinking, the mind is thinking. You have not experienced that trauma also, The trauma was experienced by your body. The trauma was experienced by your mind. You know, the accident happened to your car. The scratch is there on your car. There is no scratch on you. You are inside the car, safe, secure. This mind and body are your tools. So in the beginning, you know, that when the trauma comes, it becomes a trauma that I take to my core. Then it becomes deep rooted. And after that, as I repeatedly think about it also, I think that I am experiencing that again. So the key point, my dear friends, to be free from this is that you have to split yourself into you, body, mind. Even the person who gave you trauma, he didn't give you. His body and his mind gave you. In his core, he is also calm and serene. In your core, you are also calm and serene. In this way, when we think, we reach a more calm, stable state of mind, and then from the core, it is possible to be free from them. Basically, in the initial stages, you move it, first push it out from your core, then you keep it at the periphery. Then when it remains at the periphery for a longer time, you see that it disappears. If it will remain in your core, it will always remain. So people are, very learned people are there who are cognitively very strong. They are already, trying to divert their attention, doing many things. But at the same time, there should be a continuous effort to use the cognition, the viveka, to tell yourself who is suffering. Whether I am suffering, did I suffer? Or these are just the scar on my vehicle and I am safe and secure still. Okay. So I request all of you to please contemplate on these. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Sir, excellent talk, sir. Excellent explanation. So very beautiful, sir. Very beautiful.
Sir,
Yes.
very beautifully explained, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Surya ji?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yes.
So thank you for this explanation. So here we talked about a trauma and a negative experience, but also when we face something positive, also we should not let it go to our mind, right? Because that's also an extreme. So what I learned from today's session is we got to keep a balance between the good and the bad, because life is going to throw you the challenges bad along with the good, right? Because the memory can trigger even good things, right? So in the end, we have to be detached and try to control, like not get carried away with too much good and with too much bad. Am I right?
Yes, Surya.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
you have understood it correctly.
Yes, sir, sir. So you have to carry the sukha dukkha as equal.
Yes.
That's what.
You have to attach
That's
yourself
what.
transcendental, because
Yes.
Chitta has a property that it has to attach itself somewhere. So it is the attachment goal has to be transcendental. There your asakti should develop. You should develop a strong asakti towards transcendental, and you should develop vairagya towards the external. This is the way through which chitta vritti nirodha is possible.
Yeah. The word you told, the mantra japa, sir, that is most very, very important, sir. So always repeating. Even Mahatma Gandhi used to repeat also Ramanama. So he says, even if you do nothing else, keep repeating Ramanama. Someday you will suddenly see light in the midst of darkness. So while he was dying also, he told, Ye Ram. So that is the. So when you repeat japa, the same word, what you told, go on repeating. Whether today it may give or tomorrow it may give fruit, but it will one day it will have its own fruit. That's what I think.
There is Swami Premanandji Maharaj, Swami Premanandji Maharaj in Vrindavan, who speaks about this japa mahima. He is, I think he is in a state of yoga. He is in a state where he has, through the japa, reached a state where he is not there. Only divine is there. manifesting through him. I request all my dear friends who are here to please search on YouTube about Swami Premanandaji Maharaj from Vrindavan, and listen to his answers to the questions which devotees ask as a regular satsang. Okay? Thank you. Namaste.
Sir, can I just narrate one experience, sir? Since you
Yes.
spoke about I am not the body, I am not the mind.
Yes.
Recently, I had surgery, a major knee surgery.
Yes.
It was very traumatic, very painful. I'm recovering from it. I'm much in a better place. But you know what? I could manage my pain, manage myself with these two sentences very beautifully, sir. That the pain is not in the body. It is not. I mean, the pain is in the body. It is in the mind. It is not in you. So leave it to the body. Leave it to the mind. Believe me, sir, it helped me so much. Every moment when I experience pain, I'm just, sending it out that way.
Wow. Wow.
This is my personal experience. And since you brought out these two things, the relevance of that practically, helped me to overcome, sir.
This is amazing, Lalitaji. Wonderful.
No, really. It is a very easy technique to follow. And we may not pay attention, but when the need arises, these things really help us, sir. Yeah, I just wanted to narrate. Thank you so much, sir.
And to congratulate
Thank you,
you
sir.
that
This
you
course was-
applied it. Many people listen to it, but it requires a lot of dhairya, a lot of viveka to apply it. So
Yes, sir. It really, I mean, I could cope much better, sir. It was, I'm sharing in words, but I can't express more than that. Yeah.
so
Thank you. Today's discourse was very, very good, sir. Thank
It
you
was
so
very
much.
nice, sir. I just wanted to support what Lalita was telling. Even I underwent such a trauma situation, but I never knew what I am doing. But I always believe in Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, because I did Bhagavata and that Bhakta Prahalada and Dhruva, they were chanting only that to reach his things. So same thing, two major times. So I don't know how I passed through those days. I am very fine now. So as you said, even I forget, but chanting keeps coming.
Yes.
Whenever I travel and whenever I get into bad situations, that chanting will come. And some mantras I keep chanting and I forget the situation. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, Sandhyaji, very inspiring. Lalitaji, Sandhyaji, thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks to you, sir, for giving us these valuable lessons. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
We are all just instruments of the divine, and I am your friend. We are mutually learning from each other, and it is really a very, very beautiful thing for me also in my life. Thanks to all of you. Thank you. Namaste.